You're thinking about giving a TEDx talk. You've listened to part one of this series where I talk about what a TEDx talk is. So now you're thinking, how do I craft an idea worth sharing? That's today's focus. Welcome to Everyday A New Thought. I'm Thor Chalgren. Today I'm sharing my experience in my recent TEDx talk. This is part two. If you haven't listened to part one yet, go back and take a listen to that. In that episode, I share basically the history of TED and what a TEDx idea is, what a TED talk is. So today, we're going to talk about the idea. How do you craft one? And I'll reiterate that this is just based on my experience. There are lots of resources out there, lots of ideas on how to create a TED Talk. This is my perspective on what worked for me. If there are other things, I'd love to know because I know I'll do this again in my future. But for me, this is what worked for me. So how do you craft a TEDx talk? Well, there's a popular way to think about how to do that. And it goes something like this. You are essentially distilling your idea down into an easily recognizable phrase. TED says it's an idea worth sharing. So how do you distill that idea down? Here's one way that you can think about it. You could look at your idea and frame it this way. Most people think X about a topic, but really Y is true. This originally came from Rory Vaden, and he may have gotten it from another source, but that's who I heard it from. Rory's with Brand Builders Group, and he shared this, that most people think X about a topic. So in other words, most people think something about a topic, but really Y is true. And I think the reason why this framework works is that you're framing your idea, the idea that you want to share, in a new way, a fresh way. You're bringing some level of intrigue to it. And an audience wants to hear that. They want to know, oh, I thought that was true, but you're telling me that something different is true. So I'll just say from my own talk, it generally fits into that example. So the nutshell of my talk is embrace chaos on vacation. So when you hear that, most people will expect someone to say, if they're talking about vacation, that you want to embrace relaxation, you want to embrace having fun. I'm saying you need to embrace chaos on vacation. So it sounds like a counterintuitive idea. So to the extent that that feels unexpected to you, you're going to lean into that and you're going to want to know more. Another example is a talk given by Larry Smith. He's a professor and he gave a TEDx talk. The title of his is Why You Will Fail to Have a Great Career. Now, when you hear that, you're it sounds a little blunt, but his talk is humorous. It is blunt. It is direct. And what he does in his talk is he points out the excuses that you'll give for not going after what you say you want in life, why you want a great career. And he's a professor, so he has lots of experience of dealing with college students who say they want one thing, but then do they do the work required? So his talk is Why You Will Fail to Have a Great Career. So when you hear that, the title, Why You Will Fail, that's not what you expect to hear, right? I mean, what you probably expect to hear is why you can succeed in whatever you want to do. You expect to hear that uplifting, positive approach. And what Larry Smith does in his title and the focus of it, and it's not just the title, it's the entire talk. He's giving you that same idea, but in a blunt, no nonsense way. And it's almost like he's kind of telling you, like, he's giving you a challenge. He's saying, I know you say you want these things, but really here's why, based on my experience, why you probably won't get it. So he's kind of telling you, like, if you want this stuff, you got to put in the work. It's a great talk. I'll put it in the show notes. I highly recommend it. But again, it falls in general into that most people expect Y, but most people expect X, but really Y is true. So as you begin to think about your idea, ask yourself, can you craft it in that way? Again, not every idea has to fit that. But I think if you think about your idea that way, most people think X, but really Y is true. And you examine it and go, can I arrange the topic in that way, you are going to create something that's fresh, that's original, and that causes people to want to know more. That's the episode for today, how to begin crafting your idea. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the next part, which is the logistics. How do you begin to look at what's the length of the talk? How long is it going to take you? So that's tomorrow's show, and I look forward to seeing you then.